If you go on a weight loss journey, does it ever really end? Is there ever really an end in sight? Or is it something that's just for the rest of your flippin' life? It never ends. Which one is it? Or does it have to be an either or? Hey, I'm Lyn Lindbergh, and this is the Couch to Active podcast. If you are new to this podcast, head on over to couch2active.com. Learn a little bit about what we are all about. And I'm going to assume that you're not new, and we're just going to go right in. This is week number 26 and 27 of my weight loss journey. And I've been asking myself that question. How long do I keep doing this for? How long do I keep coming on here and saying, all right, here's another weight loss week, and here's what we did, and here's what happened, and here's what I learned. So here's where we're landed. We've been doing 6 months of this weight loss journey podcasting here, and we've covered a lot of ground. In fact, I am actually really surprised at the number of people who've reached out and said, hey, Lyn, I have just listened to your weight loss podcast journey, and I am finally having success for the first time in my life, and gaining strength and gaining speed at the whole time, the whole holy grail thing. That's my favorite little term, right? Just the holy grail we're going after here. So it's really pretty exciting to see that already. Just me sharing my story has had some really great impact. So if you're thinking, gosh, I want to do this weight loss thing, go back to week number 0 and listen through week 0 all the way through to where we are today. And there's a lot you'll learn there. Today, a couple things going on. We took this podcast to every other week for a while. Now we're going to go to about once a month and a little more real time. And here's why. I have finally got my journey to a point where I'm in a good stride. So I'm still going to look at losing some weight, gaining speed, gaining strength. But the pieces, the main concepts we have covered in all of these episodes. There's a couple more today, but for the most part, we've covered what does it really take to do this. And so reviewing it over and over and over and over again, well, we'll do that in other episodes in the future, but I kind of want this weight loss series specifically to be not full of a bunch of repetitive stuff. I really want it to be like a series that you can listen to and get something new out of every single week. So a couple episodes I'm going to do for sure. One is right now it is early November. So we're going to do one more that I'm going to record and publish on the same day, which is going to land just before the United States Thanksgiving weekend. So it's going to land in your boxes on a Tuesday, on your players, your boxes. Tuesday, the 21st of November, I'm going to record and push send at the same time. So by then, I'll know what my Thanksgiving plans are. I haven't figured out yet. And I'll have my head around the game plan for that as far as health, fitness, weight loss, with the caveat of I refuse to go into Thanksgiving and not enjoy the day. I absolutely refuse to go to Thanksgiving with a mindset of depravity of I can't eat the things, right? So I'm going to come in. So that's that next one to talk through that. Then about a month later, almost exactly a month later, I know we all celebrate all different kinds of December holidays. I think it'll be the Tuesday, December 19th. Same thing, real time. I'll record how Thanksgiving went, and then looking forward to December 19 and the new year, and we'll go from there. All righty? Yeah, I think that feels good. I'm also excited to get back to more of our regular programming too. There's just so many things to talk about with health and fitness. Yeah. So today we're going to take one more look at alcohol and a couple of book recommendations and where I currently have landed with alcohol in my life, given that the holidays, the triple threat is approaching: Thanksgiving, December holidays, and the New Year's. It's like the triple crown of alcohol. Yeah. We're going to look at that. And then I'm going to review. I'm going to go back and review with the successes I've had in gaining strength and speed in a way that also resulted in weight loss. That's the term I've come to. Let me say that again, because I've always struggled a little bit with saying, this is my weight loss journey, but those are words people understand. The term that has really worked for me is this. It's a journey for me of gaining strength and speed in a way that also results in the scale number going down. That feels good to me. That feels right. So I'm going to go through and rapid fire look at what are the key tactics of my lifestyle that I've done. Like, I'm going to give you exactly what I've done. Basically looking through weeks 1 through 27, what are the exact things that I've done that have made success happen, made success being supported. Yep. Then I got that pesky devil in my head. A devil in my head, a devil in my head. I need to write a song about that. I got that devil in my head. I'm going to talk about that a little bit and just some of that self-talk junk I'm still dealing with. Gosh darn it, I wish I could come to you and say, oh, it's all wonderful. It's fabulous. But no, I still got some darkness in there. So we're going to talk about that and go from there. So hope you guys are doing well. Before I just dive in, I just want to ask yourself, how you doing? Yeah? Like really pause for just a moment and ask yourself, how are you doing right now for reals? Yeah. Because it's really easy to just mindlessly turn on a podcast and start listening to a familiar, lovely voice. And we get busy with our day and we don't actually pause to really say, how are we really doing here? Yeah. I just want you to know that if while you're listening to this, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like just blah about anything, specifically health and fitness, but anything in your life, just know nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. Things come and go. Good things come and go. Bad things come and go. And all we can do is what we can do each day, and then show our self-compassion for the past, look forward to the future. But really all we can do is this moment right now, today. Yeah. And right now, today, we're hanging out. We're going to pretend we're hanging out at a coffee shop together. Yep. I've got my, let me see. What do I have? I was going to say my Americano, but I'm already fully caffeinated. So I'm going to do a tea. That's what I got now. Matcha green tea. Of course, that's caffeinated too. Oh, well. And what coffee drink do you have? Oh, you don't drink coffee? Okay. Well, whatever you want. My treat. There we go. We're hanging out to coffee. Here we go. So I'm in a space where I am happy with what I weigh. And actually I cringe a little bit when I say that I'm happy with what I weigh. I'm happy with the scale number. That's actually not so much what I'm happy with. What I'm happy with is the fact that I'm stronger. I'm lighter. Oh my gosh, when I visited my son at his college, we did a little hiking and there's one really steep section and I realized I was just like doot, 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 up the steep section. And part of it was because I wasn't carrying almost 35 extra pounds on me. That does make a difference. So that's a space where that number on the scale does make a difference because I'm not having to carry around that much weight. And because I've been eating my protein really well and still doing my strengthening exercises, those muscles I had to carry the weight that was on my body, now that I've lost a lot of weight, I still pretty much have those muscles. So my body comp has changed. So getting up those hills is faster. So super, super great. So, but I want to let's take a look at, now that I'm happy with that, what got me there? So I'm going to do a rapid fire list here. This is going to go really quick of kind of what are some of the success things that I would say are tactics, things I actually have some influence or control over that supported my success. So one of them was protein for breakfast. I made sure I had a breakfast that had a minimum of 20, more like 30, 40, 50 grams of protein for breakfast in the morning. Super important. I think that was a big piece of my success. I cannot say it's my number one, but it would be one of my number ones if I could pick 12 number ones. Another piece that really successfully enabled this journey is really getting to know portions and really loving the idea of watching portion control. Portion control is the word. I want to call it portion love. That's right. Looking at what I put on my plate, not seeing it as a matter of depravity, but really getting to know, if I put this on my plate, which is a less than I used to, I don't look at what's less on my plate and say, oh, I'm so sad now, it's less. I look at it and say, yes, I've played with this enough that I've got the confidence that this is going to fuel me. I'm not going to be overeating, so it won't bog me down. I won't have that groggy blah, I just ate too much. It'll fuel me in a way I need to be fueled. It'll give me the nutrition I need to. And that is exciting. So portion love, AKA we know this as portion control. Sleeping, huge sleeping. We've talked about that. Stress management, massive. I still have, I would say, a tremendous amount of stress in my life. Just went through, as you guys know, huge transition in my life. Some just really heart-wrenching stuff in the last year, and getting away from the acute stressors, the oh my gosh, 100% of my attention needs to go to this because I'm really stressed out. So if you've got that where you're going through something really acute, you got to get through that first before you could ever think about losing weight. Some folks, when they get totally stressed out, they can't eat and they lose weight, but that's not healthy. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about getting stress managed in a way that you can eat and portion control well. So I had to do a lot of big changes in my life. Another thing I did, which I really think has contributed to my success, is I broke up with the news media. Yeah. And I don't talk about the news media and what's going on in the news, in part because I pretty much quit looking at it. Now, that's not to say I live under a rock. No, not at all. But I never have it playing in the background. Granted, I live alone, so I have a lot of control of this, right? I actually don't own a television. Not because I'm some weird freako no, evil television, blah. No, it's just I ended up without a television and I'm too lazy to go buy another one. And that was 12 years ago. I have devices. I sit in front of 3 screens on my desk and a phone, and I've got an iPad. I have a plethora of information coming in. I know what's going on in the world, and I pick the topics that are important to me, and I really look at them in more detail. But not having that news media constantly, that's been really good. Making good decisions so that I don't end up all stressed out. I know we talked about stress and news and stress again, but stress has been a really big one for me. Hydration has been a big one for me. Getting the junk food out of the house has been a big one. Getting the alcohol out of the house has been a big one. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Restaurants. Okay. Here's where I've landed on restaurants. The rule of thumb for me, and you've got to figure out what works for you. The rule of thumb for me is I'll go through a menu in a restaurant and I'll look to see first, is there something that's a super healthy-ish option that looks great? If so, I will get that. But I will not get the super healthy option just for the sake of getting the super healthy option, because that usually just ends up making me sad. And the whole point of this process, the whole point of all this work is to be more happy and healthy, not sad and healthy. Yes. So I look at that. If I'm not seeing anything, nothing's calling out to me, then I look to see if there's a vegetarian option. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Protein, 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 protein. But I have found that overall at restaurants, vegetarian options can, not always, but can tend to be significantly less calorie laden and many times just as yummy. So I'll pick a vegetarian option. If none of them are calling out to me, then I'll look for something that looks like a clean cut of meat. And if nothing else, if I just want the pasta Alfredo, which happens, then I say, okay, but I'm only eating half. That seems to work. Now, I cannot eat day after day after day in restaurants and lose weight. I have not successfully done that. I think it's unrealistic. Have been able to do it and maintain weight though. Another thing that's been supportive of me is daily scale weigh-ins. Now, this is an individual decision. This is absolutely not the right decision for some people, totally the right decision for others. For me, daily weigh-ins has been super helpful. Another piece has been massive, compassionate attitude towards myself, and being super curious and having super duper accountability. And so I've got one good friend. It only takes one good friend. I've got a couple good friends, but one in particular where I can really be accountable to this friend. I can talk details of what's going on. We can brainstorm. That has been super helpful. And if you're trying to do a weight loss journey completely on your own, you don't have accountability, and you're like, I don't have a friend like that who can really be there for me, then reach out to me and let me be your guide. Let me be your coach, because super, super important. And then this one makes most people pretty twitchy, but this tactic is super important. And I really believe everybody needs this at some level, is some level of public accountability, and how you define that works for you. It has to work for you. So for me, clearly I've got an advantage here, right? Couch Active, the podcast, I'm out here like I have huge public accountability. For you, your public accountability might be, a couple of friends. It might be hiring a coach. It might be bringing someone in to support you in that way. It might be joining a group. But public accountability those have been my really big pieces. The one thing I need to work on and continue to work on is answering that question of, are there things that really I just have to admit and say, hey, Lynn, these are things I just can't have around. That there will not be a day, to let go of the fairy tale that there'll be a day. I dream of a day when my weight loss journey is done and I can just go back to my old life. No, we know that's a recipe for disaster, which is the whole reason why we set this up in a way that we love our lives more. But some of the things I've learned through this whole process, in order for me to continue to maintain, there's some things that I know in my kitchen I've got to watch out for. So let me rapid fire some of those. Are you ready? Now, these may not be yours, but they are for me. So what your homework is to figure out eventually, what is this for you? So in my kitchen, things I know I can and cannot have in my life. Yes, I can have cereal in my cupboard. It's never a problem. I look at it, I'm like, oh, whatever. But no, I cannot have high-end alcohol I like in my cupboard because I will drink it, even if I don't want to. Yes, I can have dark beer in my fridge. No, I cannot have light beer in my fridge. I will gulp that stuff down. Yes, I can have a Costco Sam's size, club size trail mix with white chocolate chips in it, sitting in my cupboard all summer, not a problem. But no, I cannot have a chocolate bar in any shape or form just laying around my house because I will eat it. In fact, just a couple days ago, I was rooting around in the back of my truck and my SUV, and I found a half melted leftover chocolate covered almonds from camping that I kind of forgot was back there, and it was like just gross and half melted. And I literally almost pried it out of this bag half melted and gobbled it down just because I was like, ooh, chocolate. And then I paused and I was like, wait, what are you doing? And so I took this and I walked to the store I was going to and I threw it in the trash. Yes, I can have piles and piles of healthy prepared meals in my fridge. I won't overeat them. I can even have healthy bread options, Ezekiel and Dave's Killer. Yes, I can even have pasta pre-cooked in my fridge, and I'm fine with that. No, I cannot have top ramen in my house. I will gobble that stuff down. Yes, I can have potatoes. No, I cannot have potato chips. Yes, I can have beautiful imported cheese. Oh, I love me some nice, really stinky blue cheese or gorgonzola cheese. Oh, I love that stuff. Like with the right fig jam and the right, either slice of apple or the right cracker to go on it. Oh my gosh, I love me that. But I can only buy the little things of cheese. If I go to Costco or Sam's Club and buy a big old thing of it because it's cheaper that way, I will overeat the cheese. But if I buy a littler one, I'm fine. Yeah. So these are the things we learn. So you got to figure out what are yours. Let's see, what else? Charcuterie, which is all the rage nowadays. I can buy it, portion it out, and I can eat it just fine. If I buy it, leave it in the original packaging, I end up pulling out the original packaging and I overeat it. So these are the kind of things that are on my list. That is not like a whole rule of 25 more rules. It's more of, these are things we do, we figure out, we own it. We don't make it a shame cycle thing. We don't make it oh, bad Lynn, you can't have alcohol in your house, or, ooh, bad Lynn, you can't have chocolate bars in your house. Like, no. We're pragmatic. We own it so that we can set ourselves up for success as much as possible. And then we got to keep the devil out of our head. And I'm not talking about the religious devil. I don't know. Maybe I am. You decide. The devil will always sit on my shoulder a little bit. But having the devil actually in my head, breaking me down, that's not a life I love. And so sometimes that little devil gets into my head and it says just pretty evil things like, you're going to gain all the weight back. People are going to judge you for being so public about this journey. People will think that you're better than them, or maybe they think you're judging them. And how can you ever trust a man to love you for who you are if they meet you when you're skinny? Oh my gosh, yeah, it gets dark. It gets dark pretty quick. And so that's part of the work that I still have to do. Is I would say, for the most part, I've made huge progress in getting that negative self-talk out of my head. Yes, having some successes has helped tremendously. And setting up these successes in a way where I actually enjoy what I eat, and I actually am not letting myself go hungry or feel super deprived, that's given me a lot of confidence, which has helped me take that devil out of my head and put it on my shoulder. And literally, I will sit on my couch, close my eyes, meditate, and think, okay, pull that devil out of my head, take that negative self-talk, set it on my shoulder, or set it on the other side of the room, or put it somewhere else, because I want to reserve space in my mind, space in my head for the things I love, the things I enjoy, and for staying positive. So that is a big piece of it too. Let's take a look. Here at alcohol. One more time. I want to say one last time. We'll see. So two books. If you have been thinking about alcohol's place in your life also, I've landed at a couple spaces. One is the concept that we tend to take the concept of alcohol and we tend to put the label alcoholic on someone. And we say, in the United States anyway, and actually a lot of the world, we either say, you have no problem with alcohol at all, please drink responsibly, or you're an alcoholic and you can never touch alcohol again for the rest of your life, and you must go to AA meetings and you must do the 12 steps and blah, blah, blah. To say that it's an either or, completely an either or thing, has left out a large group of people who would technically fall under the drink responsibly category, but maybe want to look at it a little more closely. And I really think that's where I have landed and where I have fallen in. A couple things that are very, very, very clear. Alcohol is poison. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. Alcohol does not help our weight loss journey. Does it mean you have to cut it out completely? No. Have I cut it out completely? No. Have I cut it way down compared to what I used to do? Yeah. Part of what's helped me is there's two different books. So if you're there too, if you're thinking, gosh, I really should look at alcohol's stance in my life, there's two books out right now that have really helped folks in that kind of position make a decision. One is, if you like someone who's a little more crass, a little more hard hitting, a little more like, what the fuck kind of attitude, you will enjoy the book called Women Who Quit. Yeah, really great. She talks about alcohol's role in her life and how she decided to get rid of it, and how she really started equating alcohol as pouring herself a glass of self-administered oppression. Yeah. Now, if you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't know if I want an edgy, hard-hitting person, and I need somebody who's a lot more compassionate, a lot more gentle, and someone who can help me see how my life can be more full when I'm sober, how my life can be more amazing if I choose to live a life that's not full of drinking, then I would recommend the book called Sober Full. So either one of those, both great. I would say one is a really great book. Another one is a beautiful book. There was The Women Who Quit. There's a couple things in there where I was like, I don't know. And I was scratching my head. Yeah. But if you read the book, you'll see those parts and you can decide what you want to think about those parts yourself. But yeah, so where have I landed? I think I've been pretty clear, but I think it's good for me to say the words out loud. I've landed at a place where, yes, I will still drink now and then, but I think that's becoming less and less for me, because even the last time I drank, I am genuinely, and I can't believe I'm saying these words out loud, but they're my truth. I'm genuinely not liking the feeling that alcohol gives. I'm not liking the feeling of being buzzed. You know, maybe one glass of wine and being relaxed, but even at that, I've had, last week I had one glass of white wine at a nice dinner, and it dampened everything down. And yeah, I was more relaxed, and yeah, I felt a little more free flowing or whatever, but I also didn't feel as clear-minded, and I didn't feel as present, and I didn't like it. So basically then very, very little drinking in my life and my future, I think, is what I see happening here. So interesting stuff, my friends. Wow, my time flies. How in the world did I just rattle on for a whole half hour? So next time we do another weight loss episode, it'll be in another month here. I do expect the scale to go down a little bit more. Ooh, yes. I need to give you my scale numbers. We'll do that in just 1 second. If you are thinking, yeah, I resonate. I want this. I want to get my health and fitness going. Then I've got a resource for you called the Week 0 Checklist. Priced it so low, like the price of a latte. It's on our website, and it has a checklist for you of about 20 things, the major things that are not necessarily food related, to get together and get going in your life to really support this weight loss journey to actually stick for you. It's called the Week 0 Checklist. Priced it crazy low just to make it accessible to folks. And you can find that at couchedactive.com/0. Head on over there and get that list and get yourself going. All right, we got 2 weeks to report out. The first week, I started at 150.6, ending at 150 for a net loss of 0.6 pounds. This was with Alabama returning and the Oregon and Michigan state conventions at the end. So a week flanked on both ends by travel. I still managed to lose almost a half a pound. Now, we know a half a pound is nothing in the grand scheme of thing. We always want to look at those 6-week trends, but there's the week's data. Week number 2, which was the second week of this report out, we started at 150. We ended at 147.8 for a loss for the week of 2.2 pounds in 1 week, which is more than usual for me, but like we look at the trends, right? The week before was about a half pound. This one was about 3 pounds. This is how this works. This is how it works. So over 2 weeks, a total loss of 2.8 pounds for a grand total loss so far of 34.2. So close to the 35-pound mark. Super, super excited. So now I'm setting my sights a little bit more on non-scale victories, because I'm at that point where I feel like I'm at a good weight. I could lose more, but I could also do a body recomposition so that the scale number doesn't go down, but my body fat to muscle ratio changes. So I have more and more muscle, less and less body fat. So So that's the place I'm playing in right now. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens over the next month there for that. But so great to see. Lost almost an entire, 35 pounds. That's about the weight limit of most carry-on suitcases for an airport. Yeah. Literally not carrying the baggage around. All right. Big hugs, compassion, smiles to all y'all out there. If you have a question for me too, get on Couch to Active and just call our phone number. Leave me a question. I will address it on the podcast. Or leave me a voicemail with your permission to play your voicemail on the podcast. Would love to have more voices on here. So head on over there, couchtoactive.com. Get your checklist at /0. All right. See you there. Bye-bye now.